You guys ready to talk about the patch? Patch
Yeah.
11.23?
We'll probably go through
awesome.
it pretty quickly because we kind of already went through a lot of it over the last couple weeks. But anything that's interesting, we can like have a discussion about for sure.
Yeah, I do think we touched on all of the items
Mhm.
and the Drake changes, which I think are the biggest parts of the patch. So, yeah, first up, hey, there's a Lulu bug fix already where picks would become targetable after Lulu traveled through a hex gate.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny.
Yeah, I saw a video of her blocking. What was it? It was something crazy, but she had
like
blocked.
a Caitlyn ult or something?
Yeah, like a Caitlyn ult or something.
Yeah.
It's so
Help me,
fucking...
picks. Block this Caitlyn ult.
It's just crazy that stuff like that happens. Like, just the spaghetti.
It is, yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And then we'll jump straight into it, into the Arcane. So obviously, hey guys, Arcane's out if you haven't heard. There's the Council Archives, which gives a lot of backstory to Jace and Vi's backstory. Some more information there. Ultimate Spellbook is back. I don't know if it's live yet, but it'll be back in this patch. Hey, you can create your own Arcane avatar. So we've had a little bit of fun in the Discord about that.
Yeah.
Where you kind of like create your own character. It's pretty fun what you can come up with. Summoner Rift has some accents related to Arcane, and there was a Caitlyn ASU audio. What is that? What is ASU?
I know exactly what it is.
I can't remember, but it's basically just a visual and audio update.
Yeah.
So they updated that stuff. Awesome. Objective bounties are in the game. So this is for when a team is losing. We obviously talked about this. Baron and Elder start at the following and can be increased up to 60% of the value, and it's split evenly. So for Baron and Elder, it's 500 gold split. Drakes and Rift Herald 500 gold split. Outer turret 250, inner turret 400, and base turret 400, all split. And it highlights it on the map. When you press tab, what the current objectives are, as well as the values of those objectives at the top.
Just to give like first day impressions, because I think I'm the only one who's played on this patch so far. So there's tons of issues with these, but I think overall it is a good mechanic. People are very much freaking out about it. They're like, this is dog shit. Like if you're like only a little bit behind, you get like crazy rewards and stuff, which it's something that they're trying to tweak, right? Is the idea, right? Like the Riot has come out and said, hey, if you felt like the objective bounties were too much in your game, make a report so we actually know about this. We're trying to tweak them for when the season actually starts. They'll be balanced and stuff. My main issue is that I don't know if they should all be active at the same time.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like the issue is like you get behind or the enemy team gets behind and then they can do Herald, Dragon, or get a turret and get like gold back, which yes, in theory, when you have a lead, you should be able to transition the game into a win, right? But you can't defend all of those things, right? And that will become the issue in like pro play, I think, as well, where even if a team's really far ahead, they have to go for trades, right? You can't defend all three of your turrets while defending Baron, while defending Dragon. That's just not how it works. When you go for Dragon, they're probably going to be taking top turret, like even if they're behind.
Yeah, and like that's a very, very common thing that you see, and is considered good macro, right?
Yeah.
Is that like we're gonna accept the trade because while they get something, we get a lot more, right? Like, okay, cool. They get bot lane outer tower, we get a Baron, or like we get 3 turrets, they get 1.
Yeah.
Like those are good macro decisions.
Yeah, but now they'll be more in their favor, which feels like if it was only like say Dragon and bottom turret were the objectives right now, then maybe you do try to prioritize Dragon and bottom turret and let them trade top turret, right? Rather than like playing top side of the map. So I just feel like there's not really a lot of decision making that, but I'm sure everything's like going to be able to be changed. It feels overall like objective bounties feel great for the game, though. It's a great way to come back into it. As long as it doesn't completely fucking turn the game, then stuff like this is awesome. It will create more fighting, if anything, which is what League of Legends needs.
Yeah, I feel like there should be a primary objective and a secondary maybe for half the value, where, okay, it should be apparent to both teams what the losing team should be focusing on.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the trade-off where if you're able to get this, it's going to be super valuable, but you can also focus your attention on other parts of the map, which will also generate, income for you or advantages, just not to the same degree that the specified ones, are.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good way to do it, Nick, is to have this is your primary bounty, where you could get like 500 bonus gold, and then you could also do this one for 250, and then like the other one isn't going to give you any bonus at the moment. Like you kind of have to go for one of those two if you want a bonus, or you could just take the other one, and it's probably going to be low risk because they're not defending it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that leads to interest. I won't say like good or healthy like macro, because maybe the losing team just gets free objectives, and the defending team has to just hard commit to one particular objective. But I think it could be very interesting from my very non-existent experience with it so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it works somewhat in the same vein as like kindred marks on camps.
Yeah.
Right, where it's like, well, we can all pile into like one side of the jungle to try and get kindred's mark on Gromp. Or you can just know that their jungler is gonna be going to steal it, and like let Kindred and your mid laner dive top and say like fuck it, like I know you want to stop me from getting this mark, so I'm gonna do something else like on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah.
Only other thing to note is I also think that they shouldn't be based off of, so they're currently based on 4 factors: XP lead, gold lead, dragon lead, and turret lead. 3 of those things are very tangible things, being XP, gold, and turret lead. Turret lead also just practically being gold lead, by the way. But dragon lead, I think, is a very weird one to base bounties on, because you could in theory have a 2 dragon lead. The enemy team could get a bounty to take a turret or something like that, and they just skyrocket gold, where they're not really behind gold, they're just behind dragons. And then they have a huge gold advantage because dragon is a lead, even though I don't think dragons by themselves are that substantial of a buff. But once again, everything can be tweaked.
We've seen a lot of that in like competitive, where like one team is ahead in experience, gold, and towers, and the only thing the other team has is dragons, and they're like turtles for soul.
Yeah, that ends up being their primary win condition at that point.
It's interesting. Like, I understand why they thought about it, but it probably just needs to be like less factored in, because the other ones are way more tangible advantages, I would say. So
just make dragons gold only again. Get rid of all of the souls.
Yeah.
Get rid of the new Chemtech Drake. Get rid of the new Hex Tech. Fucking get rid of it all. Dragon is just gold again.
Awesome. So we'll jump into the other part of the patch. Jungle changes. They've introduced 2 dragons, Chemtech and Hextech. They have their selection rates temporarily doubled during this patch only, just to get a little more perspective on the map changes in the Dragon Souls. So if you feel like you're getting those more often, you are, and that's intended, and it won't be intentional forever.
Yeah, I've my 2 games both had Hex Gates as like the dragon of the map.
Yeah.
And they're fun as fuck to play with, by the way.
Yeah, that one seems really fun. I was gonna say.
I don't think they're broken at all. So the one thing I didn't know was, so the ones in the base, so it goes like base to red buff and base to blue buff, and then red buff and blue buff to other side red buff and blue buff, are kind of like where they go on the map. So there's 6 total. The base ones to red buff and blue buff are one-way portals. And then the middle ones are 2-way. So it makes sense, because now you can't backdoor like by going through portal from red buff to the enemy base or whatever. So, but enemies can get into the jungle quicker. I think that's a really good way of doing it. I didn't know that before.
I like that.
So
can you use them in combat?
You can't use them in combat, and if you take damage, it stops. It's like only like a 2-second channel though to use it or something like that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure that was the thing. So as well as those new drakes, they've adjusted Cloud. Instead of giving a ultimate ability haste, it now gives out of combat movement speed, as well as just general slow resistance.
Slow resistance is kind of sick, actually. I think it's a
I
cool
like
addition.
this change a lot compared to the ultimate ability haste.
Especially
like
with Hextech giving just basic ability haste, so it's good.
Yeah. Rift Scuttler is will have reduced health and reduced experience. So hey, it's no longer 50-50 the crab to win the game.
What's Crabber gonna do next season?
Yeah, they gutted the experience. So 80% less EXP. For the jungle players out there, this has really changed the path you want to take to hit like level 4 in most cases. Like you can't 5 camp into Scuttle for level 4. You have to full commit to a full clear and Scuttle to get level 4. You could still do like a 3 camp gank Scuttle and be level 3, or you could do like a 2-camp cheese, like. But it's really lowered the prio of first scuttle, which I think is really, really, really good for the game. I hated how important first scuttle was, because to me it always made it like there's no point ganking early, because even if you like go bottom and get a double kill, if their jungle gets to double scuttle you because of that, you're behind.
Yeah, it just felt so bad.
Yeah, it's a good change though. It's great.
Yeah.
New
Awesome.
items. So I think for new items, we'll probably just talk about the ones that we are interested in. But we already went through all these stats and stuff before. We can give a brief overview of what they do, but we'll go into a discussion if any of them are like interesting. So
yeah, just a quick little one. Crown of the Shattered Queen is up first. This is the AP item where you're safeguarded against damage until you take damage, and while you're safeguarded, you gain a bunch of ability power. I think this is going to be pretty good, honestly. Especially if you're able to maintain that. And I was also hearing people talk about it, and it seems like this is going to be really strong with Ingenious Hunter to reduce that item cooldown.
Oh, yeah,
from
that's
40 seconds down a little bit.
Ingenious Hunter is getting nerfed, by the way, for sure.
Oh, is it?
Predator run on every single
right?
character in the game. I just think because of Predator, it will get nerfed. Like, it turns out people have realized item actives are very strong, and Ingenious Hunter reducing them by such a high amount is really gross. So
I wonder if there's a way for Predator to turn that, because it is problematic. 60% movement speed is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way to turn that from an active item to more of a
I mean, I think it's with all
to a
actives
rune.
though. Like, I think it's like
no, it is.
like,
Yeah, it
there's
is.
Gore Drinker's another one that's like abused with like high ability haste builds and stuff like that. So
Yeah, but I think the only thing that's like 100% problematic right now is Predator, right?
you're Predator in every
like
faction.
Yeah, like if Predator's
Yeah.
the biggest one, I think the easiest way to go about it would just to be like state
affect
on
Predator.
Predator that item ability haste does not affect Predator.
Yeah,
or
that'd be
it affects
good.
it half. Like
yeah.
that's right. Like that's the Band-Aid fix. That's not super great, but like you could do that.
Yeah, you could say it's a rune, not an item, like
Yeah,
which
right,
obviously
yeah,
it doesn't
that-
matter.
that-
That was what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that therefore, it doesn't apply.
Cool.
Up next, we've got Evan Shroud, which is the basically new Abyssal Mask. If you immobilize a champion, then that champion takes a bunch of increased damage for a period of time.
Don't worry, and all nearby enemies as well.
It's so gross.
It is everyone near that target.
Colton's face.
What?
So yeah, Colt, if you're playing Leona, all you have to do is play the game, because you'll be stunning people or getting stunned, and everyone around you will just be taking 12% extra damage.
Okay,
And guess
so
what? You also don't
let
need
me-
aftershock.
Yeah.
Can we clarify immobilize real quick? Because that would be like stun, suppress, knock up or knock back,
Fear.
Root.
fear, root. But okay, like
I think immobilization is classified as anything where you lose control of your character.
Yeah.
yeah, that is ridiculous. That it's not only the person you hit, but everyone else. Because like that was always the qualifying factor that made the item not obscenely overpowered. Was that like, okay, you have to CC their whole team if you want it to apply to all of them.
My
You know
favorite thing,
what,
Colt, is the dream play where you have this item and you get one hit. You get one hit. You just get fucking blown up, and then everyone on their team takes 12% extra damage because they CC'd you, and then they die.
Oh, it's if they CC you also?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you CC, let's say it's in bottom lane. If you CC the support in range of the AD carry, both the AD carry and the support will be taking increased damage.
Or if you're Leona and you walk up, miss all your shit, and then
Yeah.
Nami bubbles
Hit
you,
my
they will
Q.
also be taking increased damage.
That's so
wait.
wrong. That's so bad. No.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
that it worked. Okay,
It's
I'm
both.
sorry. I didn't
Like,
realize that.
if you're playing
Wow.
Leona, 100% of the time this item is active.
Yeah, there's no cooldown, right? It
No.
doesn't say.
No, it's just
Okay, yeah. So here's what's gonna happen, right? Is you build this on Rammus, and you AFK, and they stun you, and then they all die to your fucking passive.
yeah.
They
It's,
just all melt.
Yeah, for comparison's sake, I believe press the attack value is still 12%.
Yeah.
So you just press the
Oh,
attacking
God.
every champion that is around your target.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this get nerfed quickly. Anyway, and up next we've got Axiom Arc, which, what is this? This is the ultimate cooldown
It's cool.
reduction item.
I don't think it's as good as it sounds,
No.
but I do think it's like so fucking stupid for the game. I think it's only good when you're massively ahead and it doesn't really matter what you build. Because like realistically, if you kill 3 people to get your ult back up, you know, based on I don't know, a character with a low cooldown ultimate, the fight's probably over anyway.
I guess the bigger thing though, Nick, is that so that's I think what most people's analysis is like, yeah, like I mean, cool if you kill 3 people you get to ult again. The bigger thing is characters that are super ultimate reliant, say like a Zed's a great example, right? If they kill someone, just having 25% of your ultimate back is great. You know what I mean? Not necessarily like killing multiple people and using it immediately, but like getting, I don't know, 30, 20 seconds, whatever it is, off your ultimate just by killing someone. Like, it means you have way more opportunities to, or like, once again, Evelyn, like, obviously this doesn't work because this is an 80 item. Evelyn is a character that I think is 100% fucking ultimate reliant, or until she's like turbo fed.
Until she's got 30 kills, yeah.
If this was an AP version, she would build it every game because she needs, even if it's just like getting 25 seconds or whatever off her ultimate, is crazy for her. Like,
yeah, I'm with you, Aiden, that I think where we're going to probably see this item used more is high cooldown ultimates.
Yeah.
That are typically designed to make one pick, right? Like the Rengar and Zed, I think, are really good examples where, yeah, you're not going to proc it 3 times and get to ult twice in a fight, but your go button goes from like 70 seconds to now like a 50-second. Or
yeah, but
for like Wukong, for example, it's like you go in and like as long as you kill one person, now your ultimate and your go button is not a minute and a half, but it's just like a minute.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, I just don't see it being like that impactful. I guess I don't think it's good for the game. Period. I think this is a stupid way to implement. I just think this is a bad thing to implement. If a character is relying on this and they end up building it frequently, their ultimate then has to be balanced around, you know, getting it off twice in a fight when it's usually supposed to just be once.
I think it should probably be balanced around like using your ultimate on that character. It shouldn't just be like when an enemy dies that you damage, because like, for example, there's a video on Reddit today of this being obviously like a meme clip of a Nocturne ulting in, killing 3 people and then ulting immediately again. And it's like, it's silly, but like, I mean, it should just be like, it should only work on the person that he ulted, in my opinion, but it's probably not that strong anyways, I think. But
yeah, honestly, what I think would have been probably a better way to go about this as a concept was to put it on a keystone. And I think
that'd be cool, yeah.
I think they could have put this on a keystone that then any character could run it with the general idea that it's like, you're not going to be as effective as you could have been without it, but like if you do just want to have your ultimate up all the time, it could work, right? Like you could take it on Malzahar, for example, and it's like, okay, you don't get Airy anymore, so like your damage drops significantly, or you don't take Dark Harvest on Karthus anymore, like your damage drops significantly, but your ultimate is going to be up more. And I think they could have probably balanced it well with that route, especially maybe if they put it in the inspiration tree as a keystone, where it's like, okay, like if you want this, and then you can make it really strong, but it's like you're all inning, like you have to have the clutch ultimates.
Yeah,
but I guess like I think there should be no way to reduce your ultimate cooldown outside of it in kit things and like actual ability haste. I just think that it's too like toxic for the game. All it takes is like one patch for this to be strong, for it to be like, oh, this is really fucking frustrating and broken, and it's gonna get nerfed to the point that it's never built again. Like I just don't think it's a good addition to the game.
I can't wait to fucking conjure up a troll build where I get to build this on Zillion. I'm gonna
reduce your ultimate by 5 seconds.
Ultimate on 2 people at the same time. I think I can make it happen. If I go ultimate hunter and this and like max haste, I
Let
think
me
there's
know.
a world where I can have my ulti on 2 people at once.
Let me know what character what games you're playing it, so I can avoid being in those
Yeah,
games,
true.
please.
As if we've
Julian's
played
so
a game of
fucking
League of Legends
nasty.
together in the last month.
Year, yeah.
Year.
But
Okay, anyway, that's enough for the Axiom arc.
Yeah.
Shadow Flame is an item. What is this? One of the new Sunfire items?
it's the AP version of the shield damage item. So it's,
yeah, bonus damage against shielded targets.
yeah, you
and
get
stuff.
magic resist based on the character's current health. So you get 10 magic resist scaling up to going to 20 if they're
Magic
sorry.
penetration, not magic.
yeah, magic pen based on their health, the target's current missing health or target's current health. But it automatically is at the max magic pen if they were recently affected by shield. This is a great way of doing a shield break item, by the way. I think this is like brilliant.
I feel like this isn't even really that shield reliant. Like,
No, it's not.
would you not just build this on every single character? Period.
Probably because it's 100 AP and there's very few high AP items. But
Yeah.
I think in general,
and it just gives you a baseline 10 magic pen. Plus,
Yeah.
it's a legendary, not a mythic, right?
I just think
Yeah,
the idea
I mean,
of
it
like you
doesn't-
always build this versus high like shield comps, and then it's still like a good pen item for mages regardless. It's just a really cool idea, I think. In my
No,
opinion.
I think so too. I think the values are just like kind of fucked.
I think they're a little high.
Mhm.
And I mean, right. So I guess the caveat is right. It's 100 AP, which is huge, 200 health, but like no haste.
No haste,
Um,
yeah, but you
But
get 100
still,
AP out
like
of it.
10 or up to 20 magic pen. Like I'm considering right. Like one of the worst case scenarios that you could have to play against would be like LeBlanc, who goes Luden's Sorcerer's Shoes and this item.
Yeah, exactly.
And has like 60 flat magic pen at 3 items.
yeah.
And like 300 AP. Like, what do you do about it? Your Lulu, just kidding. You take more damage because Lulu shielded you.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't like cut shields or anything like
No.
that, which I think is a really interesting way to counter shields. But yeah, the values just seem a little bit high versus
And
non-shielded
it
targets.
seems really,
I
really
guess.
good, regardless of if they have shields, which I think like Serpent's Fang had the same problem for quite a while, and they had to
for
keep
sure, yeah.
adjusting. So I think we'll see adjustments on this to make it more of a shield cut item as opposed to a buy this every time because it's that good item.
Yeah,
But I
would
like it.
that
It's
as well.
interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
Winter's Approach is next. It is a mythic item that gives you bonus health equal to 8% of your mana. So this is a mythic, right?
It is a legendary item, I believe.
Yeah, it's a legendary.
Legendary, okay. Oh, sorry. So Winter's Approach is the component that builds into then Fimble Winter.
It's a tank tier item, so like you have to stack
Yeah.
it like a tier, and then it turns into like like instead of Seraphs or Mana Mune, it's like Fimble Winter.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, it turns into that. It gives you a bunch of health, a bunch of mana, some ability haste. It gives you bonus health equal to part of your mana, and then it adds the effect is slowing or immobilizing an enemy champion, consumes some of your mana, gives you a shield, and it is even more shield if you're against a bunch of people. So
Yeah, and it's the
I
best
think it's
rise
really
item in the
good that they
game.
what?
It's the best rise item in the game. I love tank items. I love when tank
Yeah, I
items
love
are the
tank
best.
items to rise.
Ugh.
I do think it's nice that they gave a tier item to tanks.
Mhm.
I am someone who loves to see parity in the game like that, where it's like, okay, if Tier of the Goddess is like an item, like there should be a tank tier item, an AD tier item, and an AP tier item. I would honestly like. I think it would be really sick if they created a like support tier item where it's not just like, yay, I get a ton of AP, but like my shields and healing are better or something like that. But
Yeah.
so that's a thing. There's some
That's cool.
adjustments to Bomby's Cinder, Frostfire, Chem Tank, and Sunfire.
Mhm.
I don't think there's anything really huge there. Abyssal Mask, since they moved that passive onto the new Mythic, it now is a
It's an MR shred plus an MR
Yeah.
gain.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Also, why didn't they update the Abyssal Mask icon?
I don't know.
That's one of the only icons not updated in the
Yeah.
game.
yeah. Huh.
Interesting.
Anyway,
New
yeah,
Force
and
of
then-
Nature is really interesting to me. So instead of being the stack item where you get like a shitload of movement speed and stuff, now when you're at full stacks, you just take 20% reduced magic damage and get movement speed. So it's rather than like being like every stack is better, you have to hit max stacks, but when you hit max stacks, you're just fucking muted.
I like this a lot. I think like MR items have always been a little lackluster, but this is really nice.
It's great.
And I think that it's good because like there's a lot of variety in AP characters of like I'm gonna hit you with 1 or 2 abilities versus like I'm gonna hit you with 9 in a row, and it lets you kind of build accordingly, right? Because if you're against a Karthus, this does nothing for you against his ultimate, really. But if you're against like a Cassiopeia, it's like great. She's gonna Q Emi twice. I'll have already gotten all 3 Q procs. I'm like, now I'm just taking 20% reduced damage.
Yeah. Knight's Vow, the update, is one of my favorite updates in the game. I might be OP, but I think it's really cool because I build this item a lot on Tahm Kench as like a 4th, 5th item if my AD carry is doing well. So rather than just being a damage redirect like it used to be, it's now less of a damage redirect, but when they deal damage, you heal for 8% of that damage. So that's kind of crazy. So if you have a turbo fed AD carry, which is the only reason you should ever be building Knight's Vow anyways, sure, they get like they take like less of a damage reduction, which is probably healthy for the game, but if they're doing well in a fight, you're just healing as a tank. Like, it's so crazy.
Right. And I think that's really cool. I think that also works really well for a lot of tank support archetypes where it's like, I build Knight's Vow to keep you alive. I'm as tanky as I could be otherwise, but you make me tanky with how much damage you do.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a really like nice relationship to have in the game. I would also say like in general you redirect less damage, but when they're lower you redirect more now, right? Because it was a constant 15 before.
Yeah.
Now it's 10 up to 20% if low. So like there's real opportunities for you to just like save your AD carry at low health.
What's the proc point for shield bow?
I think it's also
30%.
That's interesting.
I could see this being like a really good combo where they might adjust one of those to be like 25 or 35. But yeah, I think it's super cool, and I've always liked Knight's Vow as an item. So excited to see them giving it a little love.
Yeah, it's great. Cool. Next is Aegis. It just got its price reduced. Same with Gargoyle's Stoneplate and Locket, because those are all component pieces of that.
Locket stays the same, but the combine is 100 more.
Oh, that's interesting. Wait, why would that?
So
Hold on.
the cost of Aegis went down by 100.
Yeah.
So Locket needs to go up by 100 to keep the cost the same.
Oh, that makes sense.
But then
Sorry.
Gargoyles went down with it.
Yeah. Even though I think Gargoyles is disgusting. It's so OP. Like you get a
Gargoyles is
bunch of,
crazy.
Armor magic resist and a fat shield.
The shield is gross. Next we're on to mage items, so no real big changes.
Everfrost real cheap.
Yeah, they just made it like super cheap. There's nothing really changed about it. Honestly, there's so many other good mage choices now that like I think we'll see less Everfrost, which is probably good.
Yeah, right. So they lowered the like its mythic passive values. Its base AP is down. It's just like a cheaper, not as good item. But I think that's really good for the game because like if you're gonna take Everfrost, you should be taking it for the active, not for the stats.
Yeah, I think this benefits like all the characters that build it just purely for like its active. Like TF is like a character that jumps out a lot for me. Like TF doesn't really build typical items. Everything TF builds is like to amplify the way that he plays the game, right? Like you build rapid fire second on TF not because you like AD and crit, but because it allows you to gold card them from further. You know what I mean? So like it feels like this fits into that of like being a cheaper item that just fits like what you need. Which is cool.
Yeah, and it serves a specific purpose where I think, Tahm Kench is another like an example where you take the Ice Fist because it lets you get your other items faster and it lets you do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Even though, Sunfire, like you absolutely do way more damage if you went Sunfire. But is the point of playing Tahm Kench really to do damage in a 1v1? Not really.
It also makes your queue longer, but that's also not. It doesn't update the actual cast animation, so it's hard to
Anyway,
cast thing.
Dominic's Embrace. They just
Dominic.
Dominic's Embrace. Do you guys not remember that meme?
No.
I think it was an email we got or somebody. Maybe it was in a community.
This sounds like you're gaslighting us into believing it's
no. Somebody called it Dominic's Embrace, and I refused to call it anything else for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
But Demonic Embrace, they are lowering the AP, increasing the health, and I think they're adding a new passive. Gain 2% of your bonus health as ability power. Again, pushing it more towards like this is for tanks who want to do a little bit more damage and not, well, you might as well combine this with your Leandries to burn the shit out of everyone.
Yeah, it's great. Good change.
Awesome. Archangels is up next. This had some pretty big changes. It has health now, a little bit less AP, and you gain ability haste equal to bonus mana rather than ability power equal to bonus mana. So a pretty big hit in terms of damage from Archangels.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Cosmic Drive is interesting. It's becoming less of just a stat item. So you don't, before, if you had 160 AP, you just got ability haste and AP. Now you have to damage a champion with three separate attacks or spells to gain 20% movement speed, decaying down to 10%, and gain 40 AP until leaving combat. So once you proc it, you kind of have this buff, but like you're not just getting stats because you have an 160 AP, which is cool. I think that's a good change.
Yeah. And they really changed the way it's being utilized, because this item was, I think, like most prevalent, we would see it as a second item on LeBlanc for a lot of people, just because it's really good stats, and movement speed makes assassins insanely stronger because they can be everywhere all of the time, right? If you have to hit them with 3 attacks or abilities, like this is not for characters who pop up out of nowhere. And I think that this item was like also really good on control mages for the same reason, where it's like, great, I just get more AP and can position better and don't need to do anything. Like, no, you have to hit a bunch of stuff before it goes off, and then you stay in combat. So this is going to be stronger for those that stick around in long extended fights.
Yeah. Horizon Focus is up next. Some stat changes, and the passive now applies to slowed enemy champions, so we will probably see this picked up more frequently.
Void Staff, more pen, more money.
More pen, more money, a little bit less AP.
Yeah, pushing it later into the game versus like a second, third item.
Yeah, it's great.
Doran's Ring, they're changing a thing.
It's like a presence of mind now, where you get a little bit of regen, you get a little bit more if you damage an enemy champion. And if you can't get mana, you get health instead. Hextech Alternator gains health and loses ability power.
Night Harvester and Rocket Belt are going to be, I think, affected by that a little bit.
Just the build path has changed, and then that's it for those.
Some lethality item changes. It looks like most of this, they're lowering the cost on them pretty well across the board, with the exception of Yomu's, which is up. As for actual changes in effects, it looks like they're tweaking around some of the scaling, and then for like Duskblade, making it work differently for ranged versus melee characters. All in all, I think they're just working to balance them a little bit better. And again, it seems like most of these have effects for melee versus ranged, because I think these items are intended to be used on melee characters.
Yeah, they pretty well just like summed it up by saying that like for assassins, building a mythic first felt bad. They want you to still like want to build a mythic early rather than rushing other lethality items. So it's good.
We'll jump into runes. First Strike was added. I think we talked about all of these already.
Yeah, we
talked about them a lot too.
and we'll give our thoughts on it once we have a little bit of chance to actually play with them. First Strike is in the game. Prototype Omnistone is removed. Glacial Augment is changed. Lethal Tempo is changed. Spoiler, I think lethal tempo is probably the most broken out of all these.
It's getting nerfed for sure.
based on a bit of feedback. Ultimate Spellbook is added. There are a ton of new ultimates to be added that you can look at, as well as some that were changed or removed. So go ahead and look at that. Something about auto smite.
I do think it's good that they removed Malphite ult, by the way, because I think that's like just an auto choice. You know what I mean? Even though it was like a fun one to use on every single character, like it feels weird to remove a fun thing, but it was a fun in the fact that it was fun for the one person who got it, and then like it's just the best one. So it's cool. I
still think Cho'Gath was the most fun, just to make every character big. But yeah. Then auto smite. You don't have to take smite for this because it feels bad having smite and a summoner spell. So you'll see how that functions. We have some Caitlyn, Jace, and Jinx updates, and really I think the only one that matters is the Caitlyn update, where they removed some of her animation cancels. Kind of said she wasn't. This wasn't intentional, and she can't have these anymore, which I think is a little frustrating given how other characters are treated.
Yep. It's a very inconsistent approach, but
I posted the video from Saber. Saber's the Caitlyn god who's like has all the animation cancels and stuff down, and it's just him like going, "Hey guys, just want to show you the new animation cancels for Caitlyn. So you can E into Q and you can E into W, and thank you. That's all Caitlyn combos I have for the day." it's so fun.
The whole like guide is 43 seconds long.
Yeah,
from like start to load screen to like champion select, like. So
that being said, like I do just want to say, Caitlyn's auto attack cancels were jank, and they were in the game by mistake, and they purposely tried to remove them, and they couldn't remove them. So their logic was, hey, we're giving her an update. We can either A, remove them, or B, try to re-implement them after updating her, which they're like, that feels weird. It feels like we're trying to re-put in a mechanic that we tried to remove because it's liked, which is weird.
And it's also like, they were unintentional to begin with, so like they would have to figure out how to implement an unintended interaction that they couldn't figure out why it was happening, because if they could, they would have taken it out already, right? Like it would have been weird. But hey, that's Caitlyn now. I'm sure we'll see more changes to her as the season progresses, now that they've taken those out.
It is funny the backlash on that though, because like you'd act like fucking everyone who ever talked about this character knows the animation cancels. I've never in my fucking life seen someone do headshot animation cancels. They are hard as fuck to do. Like, of course, if you go into a practice tool, you can practice them and get good at them. But I've never seen a Caitlyn do them. And the upset on Reddit is crazy. People are acting like they ruined the character and they need to buff her because of this.
People who don't play Caitlyn at all, I'm sure, are up in fucking arms about this. And it happens anytime they make changes to things. But
yeah. It's sad, but that's all right.
Yep. All chat is kind of keeping or staying the same. If you don't have it, you're not going to get it, and if you have it, you're not going to lose it.
Yep.
So that's where we're at with that. Pretty funny, I think, but
it's fine by me.
Yeah. End of season rewards should start coming out and be done by December 16th. Clash rewards as
well. That's really long, right?
It's like 2 patches.
Yes, it just seems like something that should be instant. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of weird that it's not like instant, but hey, it is what it is. Eekstall Clash is coming up November 15th, or sorry, no. The first weekend of it starts the 15th. It'll be on the 20th and 21st. Eekstall Clash is coming up. Look into the details if you're interested. I don't want to go through all the fucking dates.
Yeah, no, I got you.
And then I think one of the big things is they added a bunch of tooltip trackers, which isn't like, it doesn't make any effect on the game, but it is really nice to know like how much damage you blocked with your Gargoyle Stone Plate active, or how much bonus healing you've gotten from Spirit Visage, or how much damage you've done with the Storm Razor thing. Like, all of those are extra numbers that then when you are comparing builds or trying to figure it out, it's like, oh great, like I can look and see that, oh, you know, I think I don't know why they didn't add this to like Collector as well.
Yep, Collector is one that should have it.
Yeah, right. It's like, how much bonus gold did you get from Collector? How much damage did you get from the Execute? And was it 7?
Do you think that there's a world where an item like Spirit Visage, for instance, which I don't think is like necessarily purchased for the bonus healing and shielding, unless your character has it. I think it's sort of the default MR item, and has been for a while. Do you think there's a world where the item is seen as like way more OP than it is, just because you can track stats and see how like the healing and shielding is impacted, because
Potentially.
I think the item is like absolutely disgusting. 30% is a lot, or 25%, whatever it is. But I think it's like a very for the healing item, I think it's a little underrated for how good it is.
I guess like I think of chains like being a good example of that. Like everyone, I think chains is really strong. I think most people think chains is really strong. But then when you have a fight where you buy chains for the very first time and have like a long fight, like me as Tom Kench, obviously my fights are longer, where you reduce their damage by 1,000 in a fight at like level 10. They go, oh, that's crazy. Like, it's hard to kind of visualize that without actually having the number. So,
True.
So it's cool.
Awesome.
Like,
and then
at the end of a fucking Karthus game, when you look at how much damage every entries did.
Yeah. Awesome. And then we had a bunch of bug fixes that you can check out, as well as several skins, including Cafe Cuties, Gwen, Soraka, Annie, Bard, Sivir, and Vladimir. And Arcane Jinx and Arcane Caitlyn are being added for this as well.
The Bard skin's one of the best skins they've ever made, by the way.
Really?
It's so good, man. His head's a teapot, and he places little teapots.
His head's a teapot. That's very cute.
He's really cute.
Nice. All right, so that is it for the patch.